All right, let's see what we got here. Mardi Gras. You're going to turn it up so I can hear it, right?
Ask the Doctor with Michael Lange begins in 10 seconds.
When it comes to your health, are you seeing the check engine light come on more than normal? It's time to get under the hood. It's time for Ask the Doctor with Dr. Michael Lange. Sponsored by Lange Eye Institute and Fortifeye Vitamins. Dr. Lange is a board-certified optometric physician and certified nutrition specialist, helping people see and feel better through proper nutrition for 25 years. The doctor is in. Call now with your questions at 877-969-8600. That's 877-969-8600. Here's your host, Dr. Michael Lange.
Okay, good morning and welcome to Ask the Doctor. I'm your host as usual, Dr. Michael Lange of the Lange Eye Institute and Fortifeye Vitamins, here each and every Saturday morning live to answer any and all questions you may have regarding your vision, eye care, and a nutritionally related topic. This is the longest running live syndicated medical talk shows in the country now. We've been hosting Ask the Doctor since April of 1993, nonstop and live. Very seldom are we not live. And my co-host is Dr. Susan Summerton for many years now. Dr. Susan Summerton is also one of the doctors at the Lange Eye Institute and hangs out with Fortifeye Vitamins and on the advisory board and is involved in helping us develop some of the latest nutraceuticals for your body and your eyes. And I'm going to take this opportunity to welcome Dr. Summerton. Good morning, Dr. Summerton.
Good morning and welcome to all the callers in this happy new year of 2026 on January 10th today. It's a beautiful day for us here in the villages. I know a lot of other locations are experiencing that cold weather, but we still enjoy that sunshine every morning, getting that good light in our eyes, making us feel good, getting us ready to start a great day, and looking forward to all the callers today and appreciate our listeners from the past and all the new callers for this year.
Perfect intro. And remember, no matter how simple or complicated your question is, we will try to answer it to the best of our ability. So if you have a question regarding your vision, eye care, a nutritionally related topic, please don't hesitate picking up the phones and giving us a call. Toll-free number. Write this down. I'll give it to you twice. 877-969-8600. That's 877-969-8600. We are coast to coast on the Ask the Doctor network and Ask the Doctor Network. And we're also live video streaming all over the world via social media and on a multitude of podcast channels as well. So one more time, 1-877-969-8600. Also, I want to let everybody know the Lange Nutrition Center in Ocala will be closed at 2 today. So if you got to get over and get your vitamins or your Wata water or anything like that, get in before 2. Charlene has to leave a little bit early. So I think they're open now until 2 in Ocala. Remember, the Lange Nutrition Center is right there at 3101 Southwest College Road, right across the street from the Paddock Mall. Large 2-story building. You take the elevator upstairs, and it's the first door on the right. Lange Nutrition Center. We close at 2 today. We are open at the Fortifeye Nutrition Center in Gainesville. No, not in Gainesville. Clearwater. I didn't get much sleep last night. So I will be at the Fortifeye Nutrition Center, good Lord willing, from 1 to 3 today. And this is January 10th, 2026. So you know this isn't a tape. I think next week I might be out of town. We might have to run a tape next week. So it's live. I will be in Fortifeye Vitamins Nutrition Center today from 1 to 3. Also, you can learn more about Fortifeye vitamins if you go to the website, fortifeye.com. That's Fortifeye, fortifeye.com. Okay. Um, you can go and learn all the latest on each supplement. There's a science section you click on so you can see why the rationale, the science behind why we put a specific amount or a specific nutrient into our supplements at fortifeye.com. And the phone number for Fortifeye Vitamins, we just about got finished all housekeeping. It's 866-503-9746. That's 866-503-9746. Also, before we go to the calls, I do want to mention we're going to be having something fun, and Dr. Summerton is going to be involved in it. The whole staff's going to be involved in it. Of course, I'll be involved in it. And it's Mardi Gras Extravaganza at the Lange Eye Institute, and that's going to be on February 21st. You know, we always have a fall festival. We have a huge crowd, but now all the snowbirds, all you guys and gals are going to be in town. So I'm thinking 5,000 to 10,000 people instead of 4,000 to 5,000 people. We're going to have gumbo. We're going to have jambalaya. We're going to have a lot of beads, a lot of giveaways. We're going to have some huge discounts on everything from frames to Fortifeye vitamins. And what else are we doing, Dr. Summerton?
We are having a dress up costume contest, which that means everyone come out, wear their purple, wear their green, wear their gold, whatever Mardi Gras theme that you are into. And a little fun fact, being from Pensacola, we celebrate Mardi Gras up there as well, like New Orleans does. And if you don't know, purple stands for justice, green stands for faith, and gold stands for power. And those are the color themes of Mardi Gras. And also, Mardi Gras, if you don't know, the definition of Mardi Gras actually means Fat Tuesday, which Fat Tuesday was kind of the last day to use up those rich foods like butter and eggs and milk and meat before the fasting season. So there is a food related theme to it too. So use those ideas. And then we also are going to have a golf cart parade. And so we can incorporate those colors, those ideas into that. I know the Villages really gets into the golf cart parades. I really enjoy any kind of golf cart parade. So I'm really looking forward to seeing what ideas people come up with.
Right. And we're going to be getting first, second, and third place for best costume, and for best decorated golf cart float. Okay. So decorate your golf carts and your body and come on out to the first annual Mardi Gras Extravaganza in the Villages at the Lange Eye Institute on February 21st. We're going to keep doing this on an annual basis. Also, we're going to have jambalaya. We've got somebody, we've sampled how she makes jambalaya and gumbo, delicious. We've got somebody from New Orleans that's a pretty good chef, going to be making pralines and king cake. So it's a day that you can get off the Lang survival diet and you can indulge a little bit. You can do that every now and then. You can do that on Mardi Gras. You can do it on Christmas. You can do it on Thanksgiving, maybe a few other occasions. All right, phone lines are open, 877-969-8600. That's 877-969-8600. Also, remember, we're running the BOGO still. That BOGO is going to stop soon on the Fortifeye Vegan Super Protein. Remember, every year for New Year's, we always do a BOGO. And the Vegan Super Protein has been on fire. People love it. So it's a way for you to try it if you never did. That's basically buy one, get one free. So go to the website at fortifeye.com and put the promo code Vegan BOGO. Vegan BOGO. That's VEGANBOGO. Pretty simple if you can spell. Vegan BOGO at the end when you check out at the promo code, and you're going to buy one, get one free. You can do that on salted caramel, chocolate, or vanilla. They're all delicious. Remember, this is one of the only vegan proteins sourced out of North America, not China. Has a PDCAAS score of 1. That's a perfect protein. We've added velocitol to it, which is amylopectin and chromium. It doubles the amino acid power. So the amino acids, the essential and the branch chain amino acids are that of whey, and some are even higher than whey. So take advantage of this. A lot of you are buying 10 of them, so you're getting 5 and you're getting 5 more. Some people have bought 10, they're getting 20 then. So you can do that. We have enough, but at the end of next week, we're probably going to stop it because we need to keep some for the rest of you guys, right? So if you look at the expiration date, there really isn't an expiration date on it. The best buy date, I think, is May. It's good for another 2 years after that, believe me. So if you load up and you think you can't use it after the best buy date, that's ridiculous. As long as you keep it in your air-conditioned house and you're not keeping it in the trunk of a black car in the summer in Florida, you will be just fine. So BOGO for the Fortifeye Vegan Super Protein. It's delicious. It's creamy. Everybody likes it. Salted caramel mocha is my favorite. All right, we're going to the phones. Steve in Clearwater. Good morning, Steve. Welcome to the program.
Yeah, you kind of dated yourself when you used the phrase when you said we might have to run a tape next week. Nobody uses tape anymore. It's all digital. So that's called a residual phrase. I mean, like our grandmothers used to call the refrigerator the ice box. Well, that's the way it goes.
I still like 8-track tapes in the car, and not even CD players, Come on.
Yeah, and only 6 of the tracks still work. One thing this week, what did we talk about? We talked about oil and Venezuelan oil. And one of the things they talked about was it's a lower quality oil. And whereas in other parts of the world that we have real nice, rich, sweet crude, which is very pure and pristine and clean. And I'm going to put a question out and hope one of the audience can answer this. I know the answer, but what does the different types of crude oil, we have oils in our bodies. What does the different types of crude oil and different qualities of crude oil can teach us lessons about the quality of the oils in our body and how we can keep them clean and pure instead of rancid and things like that? So that's a question that I want another caller to call in on.
Well, I would also entertain some injection from Dr. Summerton, because this is one of those things I'm saying I got nothing. I don't know. Well, maybe a caller can call in. You got anything else we're going to talk about, Steve, or is that it for today?
No, one more thing. That they changed the food pyramid this week again, and something about protein. And I don't know if you know about it. I don't know exactly what it was. If you haven't caught up with that this week, maybe you could tell us next week.
I saw the new food pyramid. It's like an inverted pyramid, and protein is number one. You got to have great sources of protein, and that's like grass-fed beef and bison and wild salmon. A2 cow's milk, grass-fed milk. Free-range chicken, free-range eggs, and then lots of vegetables, lots of fruits and whole grains, and nothing processed. So it's kind of like the Lange survival diet. So let me tell you, if everybody starts to follow Kennedy's advice on this, we will have a healthier society, and will we be using a lot less drugs. Now, Big Pharma won't be very happy, but you yourself and I will be happy.
Well, what was interesting to me is, remember when Trump started this thing where he got all the drug people together and said, you got to lower your prices and we'll only pay what and all the pharmaceutical stocks went up dramatically. You'd think they would go down.
Yeah, that's strange. You never know. Look at NVIDIA, not to talk stocks. NVIDIA has great earnings and you think, wow, stock's going up. It goes down. So who knows? I don't know. You buy on the rumor and you sell on the, what is that? Buy on the rumor and you sell on the evidence, or whatever it is.
Yeah. Okay.
I would buy some defense stocks. I would buy defense stocks. That's my stock tip of the day.
Well, one thing it kind of bothers me is when you hear about these people, and we have horrible wars and people are suffering and stuff, and they don't do this directly, but I think it's kind of in bad taste to get on these financial shows and say how you can profit from all this turbulence. Right. I think that's wrong, and we need to think. It's just like drug stocks. There's this one company that shows this woman in bed breathing, and it says at the top, $1 billion market.
Right.
And that's terrible. It's just like they don't mean to be that way. It's not intentional. But
everybody wants to make money, and people are profiting on other people's misery. I mean, that's what drug companies are all about, right? But on the other side of the coin, drugs are helping people too. So not only are they dying, but
Exactly.
it's helping people as well. With that, we got to take some more calls, Steve.
Okay. Well, God bless you.
All right. Take care. You're listening to Ask the Doctor. It's Dr. Michael Lange and Dr. Susan Summerton. If you got a question, give us a call at 877-969-8600. That's 877-969-8600. I don't really understand a lot of what Steve was talking about, the whole oil thing. But I am going to talk a little bit about oils in the eye right now because he brought it up. So we've got a condition called meibomian gland dysfunction that a lot of you, maybe the lion's share of you that are over 40 or 50, actually have going on. And that's when the meibomian glands, these are little glands along your lower and upper eyelids, become clogged. And they become clogged with gunk. They become clogged with bacteria and viruses and antigens and Demodex, mite eggs. All right. Demodex is a mite on your eye. And these eggs actually get in there and clog these glands. So meibomian gland dysfunction is one of the root causes of dry eye because we're not secreting the outer lipid layer of the tear film. Now that's an oil. So we're not secreting that. So the eyes become sandy, gritty, burn, tear, and itch. And the way we treat this is with good lid hygiene. We clean the lids. We recommend Optase lid scrub wipes or something similar to that, hot compresses, omega-3 fish oil like Fortifeye Super Omega. Once again, that's another oil that can help open the glands so the oils are not clogging the glands. And then if you still have issues with that, we can prescribe medications, topical medications, oral medications, and we can do some other procedures that we're going to chit chat about a little bit more. But Dr. Summerton, I mean, I don't know what he was getting at. Maybe you do, but we can expand a little bit about the oils clogging the glands. And in people with rosacea, that's oils clogging the glands on the face. They're also more prone to having this meibomian gland dysfunction, aren't they?
It is, and that is the actual leading cause of dry eye is meibomian gland dysfunction. So we want to bring that up because we have many, many patients that struggle with this, and we're constantly looking to see how we can improve it. But the meibomian glands, the name comes from meibum, which meibum is actually that mixture of lipids, which are really fats that are protective of your eye. Your eye is an exposed organ, so we need to protect it from the outside environment with your tear film. And that oil layer, that lipid fat layer, the meibum, is very important to protect it from evaporating. So we want to make sure every time you blink, you get a little bit of a squeeze blink, so it squeezes that little bit of oil naturally into your tear film. And those treatments that we talk about a lot, the IPL treatment, intense pulse light treatment, the Opti Light, and then the Opti Lift that uses the radio frequency and dynamic muscle stimulation, all help with that. We do even say start off simple, use those warm compresses. You can buy the little mask that you heat up because you need it to be warm for at least 10 minutes, and it's going to heat up those glands to naturally try to get that oil out. And he's holding up those great little ads for the Opti Lift there, which we are seeing just tremendous benefits from these treatments.
We really are. And if those of you out there listening, you've tried just about anything and everything for your dry eye, for your meibomian gland dysfunction, you have recurrent styes, chalazions, hordeolums, and you've been told you have meibomian gland dysfunction, talk to your doctor about IPL treatment, intense pulse light treatment, intense pulse light therapy. Luminous makes the only FDA approved dry eye treatment secondary to meibomian gland dysfunction. And we have the Luminous OptiLight IPL at the Lange Eye Institute. It's about a 10-minute treatment. It's painless. It's not covered by insurance. It's not too expensive, but it works. It really does. It opens the meibomian glands. It takes 4 10-minute treatments separated by 2 weeks. It does help open the glands. You secrete a much healthier tear film. You can also do the entire face. That's called kind of a photofacial. So it helps, especially if you have rosacea, it helps reduce the inflammatory components in your face that actually go up to the meibomian glands. So you can have it done right around the eyes or the entire face. And then the Opti Lift, Dr. Summerton had mentioned, we use a combination. It's the only device made by Luminous. in the world that actually combines dynamic muscle stimulation, which is kind of an electrical current, if you will, and RF frequency, which is deep heat. And that helps to open the meibomian glands, but even more effectively, it reduces lower lid laxity. All of you getting these baggy eyelids, you can pinch the eyelid and that crease stays in your eyelid for a long time. You're getting a lot of these crow's feet and things like that. So there's an aesthetic component, but it's functional because we're increasing that muscle, the bicularis muscle strength. Your blink reflex is much better. A lot of you don't blink completely and your eyes are getting dry. So if your eye is left a little bit open, the corneas are going to, desiccate and dry out and dehydrate. So this helps you have a complete blink. It helps the lid form up against the eye. So if you have lower lid ectropion, the lid's actually turning out. All of this is related to lower lid laxity. That's what the OptiLift device was developed for. And a lot of you would do a combination. You get a pretty good discount where you do OptiLift and OptiLight at the same time. And so Dr. Summerton and myself do that at the Lange Eye Institute. And I'm proud to say that we have probably done more OptiLift, OptiLight combinations than any doctor in the state of Florida at this time. So we're getting pretty good at it. So come on by the Lange Eye Institute in the Villages if you're interested in seeing if you're a candidate for it. So the phone number for the Lange Eye Institute is 352-753-4014. That's 352-753-4014. We talk a lot about, since this is New Year's, we talk a lot about ways of helping to build muscle and strength and lose fat on this program all the time. And one of the biggest nutrients that we've talked about for New Year for anti-aging, there's two. Re-esterified triglyceride form omega-3 fish oil, which, by the way, helps reduce those oils in your meibomian gland. So something like Fortifeye Super Omega or Fortifeye Super Omega-3 Max. But we've also talked a lot in the last year about creatine, and rightfully so. Creatine and omega-3 both have all the latest and most advanced and just tons of research proving its benefits. So we know that creatine helps with muscle strength, it helps with bone, it helps the brain, helps reduce traumatic brain injuries and concussion syndrome from trauma, helps with depression. It can help with mental and neurological disorders. But the main reason people take creatine is to help with strength. All of you getting older are developing sarcopenia. That's muscle wasting. A lot of you on GLP-1 receptor agonists, drugs to lose weight. On these fancy diets, you're losing weight, but you're losing muscle too. So we developed something called Fortifeye Creatine, MyHMB, and Vitamin D. The combination of those three is an amazing synergy. The MyHMB is very similar to creatine at helping build muscle and strength and power. And it's a metabolite of leucine, the amino acid responsible for muscle growth. But now we talked about weight management being the number one thing you can do for overall health. Well, now there's some evidence, and I think Dr. Summerton really kind of pointed this out to me. There's some evidence that creatine may be also beneficial, and it's emerging evidence for people that are overweight. What do you think about that?
It is. And there are a lot of people, especially at New Year's time, they are thinking of what they're going to do to lose weight. They probably already started. Well, now they're looking at creatine. If you are obese or any kind of overweight and you're trying to lose weight, creatine has actually been shown when they put it side by side along with working out that it actually will help you burn a little bit more fat too. And we know it's hard if you're overweight or you haven't worked out in the past, it's hard to get things going. Overweight people actually tend to have a little bit more muscle because they are carrying around more weight. But the problem is it's associated with metabolic syndrome. So you can't really get that energy out of the muscle very effectively because of the inflammation and the insulin resistance that tends to go along with that. So adding the creatine in helps you draw that energy out of the muscle better. So when you're trying to exercise or trying to just simply go for a walk, that creatine is going to help support and get those cells for energy production working better. then you can improve that muscle strength and help with any tiredness effect too. And so it's a really safe supplement. 5 grams is very typical, very well studied. And it's just so many benefits that when you look at it, you say, how can someone not take it?
Right. And we always preach creatine. Look for Pure creatine. That's a German developed creatine, has the most studies behind it. German Pure creatine is the purest creatine. And it's the only creatine not made in China, believe it or not. Now, a lot of you are going to say I'm wrong because you're going to look at your bottle of creatine and you're going to say it's made in the USA. Well, the creatine is sourced from China. If it doesn't say Pure or Vitalis, same company. So look for creatine or Vitalis. It's the best. Trust me. Pay a little extra and get that. Of course, Fortifeye now has an unflavored version. It's Pure, My HMB, and Vitamin D. We combined all three of those based on some late research showing that all three of those work synergistically at helping to reduce fat and increase muscle. That's the name of the game for the new year for 2026. Lose weight and build muscle. That way you're not going to be as saggy and baggy because you're filling in the muscle, filling in the skin with muscle. Now, I got to just talk about Tony, a good friend of mine. So Tony hosted the show with me about a month ago. And if a lot of you that watched the show realize that Tony is about 6'5" and was weighing 520 pounds 2 years ago. And I saw him in an eye exam, and he's already given me permission to say this, but he had some bleeding in his retina from diabetic retinopathy, out of control diabetes, secondary to being overweight. All right. And, pains in the joints and all of this. And now he's 270, 280 pounds. So he's lost half of his body weight. The glaucoma is much better. The diabetic retinopathy is much better. He's much healthier. He feels amazing. He looks amazing. But now here's the kicker, and we're going to show some pictures soon. If you go to the website at fortifeye.com, go to the very bottom, you'll see the before and after pictures of him. But now he's building muscle. So I've got him on the Fortifeye Fit Pro that he's been on always, but we've added the Pure My HMB Vitamin D, and he's pounding the protein in the vegetables. He's not eating any of the complex carbs like the rice and the potatoes and the pasta and the breads. And now he's building muscle. And we're going to share with you soon on the website. And maybe he'll be a guest again on this program. But let me tell you, he's building a lot of muscle and he's looking pretty good. And, he's, I think, 60 now. So you can build muscle until you have 2 feet in the grave, and you can lose fat until you have 2 feet in the grave. So if they have a will, there's a way. And you can always contact me. Dr. Summerton will always help you lose weight. You come in for an eye exam, and we'll help you lose the weight. We'll discuss nutrition, the right supplements with you. And that brings up the latest and the greatest that we've been working on. A lot of you are waiting for it, the Fortifeye Fit Meal. All right. Fortifeye Fit Meal. We've literally worked on for 2.5 years. Dr. Summerton's been involved in helping develop this. The whole staff's been involved on the taste test. We had 5 prototypes. We finally nailed the flavor. Fortifeye Fit Meal is going to be a meal replacement unlike anything on the market for those of you that are dramatically overweight or just a little overweight, or you're just busy and you don't have time to make a good meal. It'll be a healthy meal. It's going to have about 28 grams of grass-fed whey protein. We're going to have all organic fruits and vegetables, some extracts from pomegranate, cranberry, blueberry, and tart cherry. We've got a special fiber. We worked on a 3-to-1 ratio of soluble to insoluble fiber. We're sweetening it with allulose that acts as a GLP kind of agonist. We're sweetening it with fermented cane sugar, something called Ribosol M, has no sugar or carbohydrate value to it. We're putting 4 fat burners in it that do not increase your heart rate, probiotics, prebiotics, and enzymes, and a lot of other stuff in a scoop that's going to be delicious. So now, folks, you're going to have a scoop you put in water, shake it up, have it for breakfast on Monday, lunch on Tuesday, supper on Wednesday, and your other 2 to 3 meals, eat it from the Lange survival diet or something similar to that. And you'll have a system that's a healthy way to lose weight. And maybe you won't have to get on these drugs. So this is something we've all been waiting for, Dr. Summerton, and waiting a long time, haven't we?
It is. And I want to bring up what Steve mentioned about the new food guidelines that's just been updated. That has been pretty exciting because when I was teaching nutrition, we were all about the food plate, and that's been since like 2011, the My Plate model. So now the new model released in 2026 is an inverted kind of pyramid structure. And it goes along with what we have been saying and what we're talking about with protein, that that is the strongest focus is protein. So we all need to be looking how we can get that protein into our diet. And this is an easy way to be able to do it, especially when you're on the go or traveling and you don't have time to cook that meat or the seafood or eat those eggs. And you just need a quick, healthy way to do it. It's very convenient and delicious, which we obviously that's a main priority of ours as well. And so you can just even mix it with water or you can mix it with any kind of fluid beverage that you like. And you have a healthy, high protein going along with the latest and greatest science of what we know is best for you.
Right. So if you're interested, we do have a list of people at the Lange Eye Institute in the Villages. If you want to get on that list to make sure you get yours right when it comes out, or you can email me and I'll put you on a list. And that's idude92 at icloud.com. I'm going to spell it out. idude, so EYEDUDE 92 at iCloud.com. So the letter I, iCloud.com. Shoot me an email if you got any questions about anything, but also if you want to get on the list for the new Fortifeye Fit meal. I'm thinking it's going to be out in a month. I hope sooner, but maybe later. You never know, but it is soon. All right, we got a few people on hold. Let's go to the phones. Mary, thanks for holding in Gainesville. Good morning.
Good morning. Happy New Year
Thank you.
to everyone. I have two questions. Maybe I'll just limit to one. One has to do with a broken femur of many years ago. And at the time that this happened, the doctor said that you will have arthritis, et cetera, et cetera. And every so often, because I guess I do not exercise as well as I should, I have issues with that knee, that area.
Right.
And recently, about a month ago, I did happened to meet this man who is a cyclist. And he's been cycling pretty much all his life. He's 71 right now, but he's in extremely good form and he wins all kinds of awards for his age group. And he told me that all I needed to do was get on a stationary bike, et cetera, et cetera. And anyway, I've been using that idea and all of that. But my question, it turns out that I use ChatGPT, that
Right.
everybody sometimes dislikes, but I was able to figure out that, honestly, I do not have arthritis. I don't have it in any other part of my body, and that it was primarily because of my left glute, which is that side of the body, was being dormant. So my question to you is, and I believe that's correct because I feel so much better now that I'm exercising that way, etc. What would you suggest? Because I also hear sinus fluids and all of that for somebody like me to use as a supplement that might be helpful and help me continue to get better.
Well, that's a great question. And, you know, I've broken almost every bone in my body over the years, mostly from racing motocross back in the day and mountain biking. So if I stay off of two wheels, I do okay. When I race cars, I don't wreck, thank goodness. So I've got a lot of issues as well and favoring one side of my body versus the other due to all the bones were broken in my right leg. And I do have some degenerative arthritis. And most of us are going to get arthritis as we get older. Especially if we've had any trauma. By breaking the femur, that's a tough bone to break. So any type of trauma, you're probably going to get some arthritis as you mature. So inflammation is the root cause of a lot of this, all right? Inflammation is the root cause of pain and joint immobility. But also along with this comes muscle atrophy, all right? And tendon and ligament weakening as well. And so there's a few things that I would recommend. Obviously, exercise is very important, and doing something that is relatively low impact. So bicycling, a recumbent bike is really great, a stationary bicycle, a treadmill, elliptical trainer, anything like that is going to help build muscle and increase range of motion. But then making sure you're eating enough protein. All right. So most of us don't eat enough protein. As a rule of thumb, I always say try to eat your body weight in grams of protein. If you weigh 100 pounds, get 100 grams of protein, but at least 80% of your body weight in protein. So that's very important, good, clean protein. And then there's a few supplements you can certainly add. I've noticed since I've been doubling my creatine, all right, because I take something called Fortifeye Fit Pro before and after I work out, and that's got 5 grams of creatine in it. But since I've added the new CreaPure creatine supplement to that during the day, and I take it first thing in the morning with orange juice, so I'm taking 10 grams of creatine now. I've noticed that my knee, which nothing seemed to help much. I mean, I take the omega-3 and the curcumin, and it's bearable. I do have pain, but it's gotten better and better. But ever since I've doubled the creatine, it's improved significantly. So you're probably not taking creatine now. And we were just talking about that, Dr. Summerton and I. You may want to consider taking a good CreaPure creatine along with MyHMB and vitamin D. Those 3. That's the thing I was talking about, and it's up on our screen right now. And it's not that expensive. It's unflavored. You can put it in with orange juice in the morning and drink it down, or you can make a shake with it. You can use that vegan protein that we got a BOGO on. So you buy one, get one free, add a scoop of the creatine, shake it up in water, and have that, in between meals or even as a meal replacement. And this will help muscle integrity. It'll help bones. It'll help rejuvenate the strength in your body. And then try to eat, an anti-inflammatory diet, the Lange survival diet, because that'll help lower inflammation. Eat some fish, good fish like wild Alaskan salmon, or consider taking a good omega-3 fish oil. And the last piece of the puzzle is possibly adding curcumin, a good curcumin like curcugen, because this has some natural anti-inflammatory properties and a lot of good science and a lot of good studies behind it. But first and foremost, it starts with exercise and the right diet and getting your weight down to the ideal body weight. How much do you weigh?
153.
Yeah, so you don't sound like you're overweight unless you're only 3 feet tall. How tall are you?
Well, I don't. 5'3", 5'4".
Yeah, so
I'm at 25 BMI, okay, which means that I am overweight, but really right at almost the crossing point. And I don't necessarily want to lose weight.
Right.
I feel pretty comfortable with my weight. But I wouldn't mind if I lose a few pounds.
Sure.
But I'm not necessarily trying to do that.
So, Mary, when you add the CreaPure and the MyHMB and vitamin D, it'll help you build a little more strength. And believe it or not, it'll help you take weight off without not really trying. And Dr. Summerton is also very athletic, and she's very in tune with this exact topic. So I'm going to let her chime in and add to what I've already started.
It is, and Mary, I think you're already doing a fantastic job looking out for yourself and looking to see what you can do. So you're definitely doing all the right things already. And just kind of summarizing with what Dr. Lang said, it's about lowering the inflammation. You already have that healthy weight. You're already eating healthy foods, and the supplements, like you mentioned, the curcumin that's from the turmeric, that's a nice natural anti-inflammatory. The omega-3, which is essential fatty acids, those are also going to naturally help reduce inflammation and support that joint function. And I'm not sure if you mentioned vitamin C that helps support that collagen formation in the cartilage. And then also, I think one more thing is just gentle kind of weight bearing exercise. It's going to improve the muscle, but weight bearing exercise also promotes bone and joint strength. So it's one of those things you can start off low and just work your way up. Try to do that 3 times a week, and it's going to make a dramatic difference not only in the muscle strength, which the more muscle we have, the longer we live, but it does impact that bone and joint strength too.
And Mary, if you go, I've got a little plan you can look at on their website. It's at drmichaellang.com, langeeyecare.com, or fortifeye.com. Any of our three websites, at the top of the page, you can click and go to it, the Lange Wellness and Longevity Plan. And it talks about the foods to eat, the supplements to take. It talks about the exercise, and it gives you, examples of meals, and it tells you what exercises to do on which day and how not to overtrain. It also talks about sleep and hydration. So look at that, and you might be already implementing a lot of that into your life. But if not, it'll kind of give you a template of what to follow to help with these issues. So it's called Lange Wellness and Longevity Plan, and it's on all our websites, or you can just Google it.
Excellent. Thank you so much. I do have another question, but what I would like to do is I'd like to hang up now, and maybe a little later in the hour, or not next week, because you're not going to be there. I'll ask the other question.
Okay, that's fine.
But now, thank you.
Mary,
Bye.
you have a
Happy
great
New Year.
2026. Thanks for the call.
Right.
All right, you're listening to Ask the Doctors, Dr. Michael Lange and Dr. Susan Summerton. If you got a question, give us a call at 877-969-8600. Now, we put the toll-free number in for all of you guys and gals in California and Arizona and New Mexico that used to call a lot when we had the toll-free number, and you still have a home phone. So now, time to pick up the phones and give us a call. Don't be shy. 877-969-8600. All right, check everything out at the Fortifeye website, fortifeye.com, Fortifeye. We've been talking a lot about the Fortifeye Creapure Creatine, MyHMB, and vitamin D, quite frankly, because it works. And there's not an age limit. You can be 14 years of age. You can be 100. My mom's 98. She takes it in her orange juice in the morning. But if you guys are really working out a lot, look at the Fortifeye Fit Pro. It has everything that creatine, HMB, and vitamin D has in it, and it's flavored strawberry watermelon, and we're coming out with pina colada very soon, like in a week. And that's pre and post. You take a scoop of that in water, drink it before you work out, and a scoop in water right after you work out. And it doesn't have anything that's going to hype you up or potentially throw you into atrial fibrillation in the gym. All right. I think it might be Glaucoma Awareness Month. Is it, Dr. Summerton?
I believe it is for January. And we
Yeah, so-
learned kind of in school that glaucoma is that silent thief of sight. So it's definitely a good topic to talk about.
Right. Sneak thief of your sight. And so for any reason to go into your local optometrist, optometric physician, or ophthalmologist for an eye exam is to at least have the pressure checked in your eye. And don't rely on these screenings where they're checking your pressure, because those can be very misleading, because you can have elevated pressure and yet not have glaucoma. By the same token, you can have low pressure and have glaucoma. So that's why it's a good idea to have routine eye care every 1 to 2 years, so they can at least check your pressure, but also look at your retina very carefully. The Lange Eye Institute, we have all of the latest technology to diagnose and treat your glaucoma. So we've got, the latest of the latest. We've got visual field technology, multiple visual field units, OCT, that's optical coherence tomography, electroretinograms, visually evoked potentials, gonioscopy, digital photography, and believe it or not, simple blood pressure cuffs, because blood pressure can actually come into play on patients with glaucoma. And this is called ocular perfusion pressure. And most doctors don't even think about this, whether it's an optometrist or an ophthalmologist. So it's interesting, because if we look at your diastolic blood pressure, there's a few different formulas, but if we look at your diastolic blood pressure, that's the lower number. Let's say you're 130 over 80. You take that 80 and then you subtract the pressure in your eye. Let's say your pressure was 20. So 80 minus 20 is 60. You're in the safe zone. If that number becomes 50, you're not in that safe zone, and increases your risk of glaucoma dramatically. As a matter of fact, if that perfusion number is less than 50 or 50, you're at 2.5 times greater risk of developing glaucoma. Now, if it goes to 40 or less than 40, your risk of glaucoma is 4 times as much. So a lot of you that are being treated for blood pressure, you may become very hypotensive at night, and that's when a lot of damage can occur. Because if your blood pressure is, let's say, 90 over 40 or 90 over 50, and your eye pressure is 22, then that number is going to be very bad, and you could be getting glaucoma. So this is why it's very important for us to work carefully with your primary care physician as your eye care provider and making sure that your blood pressure isn't too low. So isn't that something, Dr. Summerton? This is where we don't want the blood pressure to be too low. By the same token, we don't want it to be too high. So the eye is kind of the window to the body, but certainly now we know that we can use blood pressure to help gauge if we're going to treat these patients for glaucoma.
It is, and that's what people don't really realize. You have glaucoma. There isn't really anything you feel or even see until it is too late. And so things like looking at the holistic point of view from high blood pressure to, like you mentioned, that low blood pressure at night. So high is bad, but low is also bad because you get reduced blood flow to that optic nerve, and that's what gets damaged in glaucoma. The optic nerve is like the cable that takes the vision to the brain. And if you get damage to the optic nerve, that's where you can get blind spots, especially in that peripheral vision where it starts. And we cannot, once that is lost, we haven't found a way yet to restore that vision. And so, key is detection to come in, get that eye exam. We can analyze the optic nerve, check the pressure. It's not just about reading 20/20 vision on the chart, because I would say, and you probably agree, a lot of our patients with glaucoma do have 20/20 vision, but it's their peripheral vision.
That's absolutely right. And since we're into health and we're both certified nutritionist specialists, so people are, and what can I do for my glaucoma from a natural standpoint? Well, remember, glaucoma needs to be treated medically with drugs, whether they're topical drops or oral medication or surgically, whether it's minimally invasive or invasive surgery. This never replaces that form of treatment. So there are some things that you can do. Omega-3 fish oil. So eat more fish. Take something like Fortifeye Super Omega. Omega-3 has been shown to actually lower intraocular pressure and support ganglion cell survival. So that helps. That's kind of like the insulation surrounding the optic nerve. Think of it like that. The ganglion cells are and the nerve fiber layer kind of go hand in hand, and this helps support healthy ganglion cells. So taking a good omega-3, a re-esterified triglyceride form, once again like Fortifeye Super Omega, but there's a relatively new nutrient, and we're the first to use it in a glaucoma supplement called Numintix. And Numintix is a spearmint extract. And the studies indicate that, there's not a lot of studies yet, but this is emerging science where when the pressure goes up relatively high, if you're taking this Numintix, it decreases damage to the optic nerve and to the ganglion cells and the nerve fiber layer. So there's basically some neuroprotective properties in Numintix. And then a combination of bilberry and pine bark extract called mirtogenol. Mirtogenol has been shown in many ophthalmology-based glaucoma studies to actually lower intraocular pressure. It works well at lowering intraocular pressure, and then it works well in conjunction with some of the glaucoma medications. And so we're the first in the industry at Fortifeye Vitamins to actually take both of those, the mirtogenol and the Numintix, and combine it into Fortifeye eye pressure and neurocognitive support. So we've taken the mirtogenol, which is the pine bark extract and the bilberry, which can lower intraocular pressure, the Numintix that has neuroprotective properties, but also the Numintix also helps with working memory and cognitive abilities. That's why we call it a neurocognitive support. So those of you that may be, just thinking you're getting a lot of brain fog moments and your memory isn't what it once was, then Fortifeye eye pressure and neurocognitive support is something to think about. Remember, this does not replace your glaucoma treatment. This is an adjunct with that. It's giving you the nutrients that have been shown in clinical studies to be effective at bringing positive nutrition to the optic nerve in the brain. So once again, Dr. Summerton, we never want to say that any of these vitamins are treatments or cures, do we?
Right. And we just want to find ways to enhance what we're doing to have additive effects. So we make sure we're doing all that we know of from scientific studies to know that we're helping you in the best way we can. And one thing that we also didn't bring up was the sleep apnea connection and glaucoma. So, all of you have sleep apnea, you know that that's when you actually stop breathing while you're sleeping. And that lack of oxygen, that oxygen drop, and that fluctuation in blood pressure at night, that reduces that blood flow to the optic nerve, and that can increase that risk of glaucoma progression. So, all our patients out there that have sleep apnea, we want to make sure you're wearing those sleep apnea masks at night so you are getting that oxygen. A lot of you go to the doctor, you've been told you had it, you've been told that you need to wear the mask, but unfortunately, understanding the consequences is not always described or understood. And this is just another kind of motivator. We
We
know
gotta
it's
go.
awkward to wear the mask. And so we just want to encourage that for help preventing glaucoma from getting worse too.
All right. Remember, everybody, the BOGO on the vegan super protein, buy one, get one free. I want to thank everybody for tuning in and listening to Ask the Doctor. We're out of here. God bless you and God bless America.